Hi, I'm Josiah,
And I'm Elizabeth.
and this is Worth Watching. I feel the need for speed. Wrong movie.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Worth Watching.
This is Elizabeth. She is our new co-host, going to be replacing Anna. Don't worry, Colin is still on the show. He is just out this week. So Elizabeth and Colin will be swapping out sessions as co-host of the show. I'll be here every time, and you will get to see some new opinions, some new information, and stuff like that. So everybody leave a comment down below that says, "Hi, Elizabeth," and we'll see how many of those we get. All right, so the movie we're going to be talking about this week is The Need for Speed, starring Aaron Paul, Michael Keaton, and Dominic Cooper. All right, so the plot of this movie follows a young street racer slash mechanic played by Aaron Paul, yes, Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad, and essentially one of his friends is killed in a race against another driver, and at that point the movie becomes a revenge flick about how Aaron Paul is going to try to beat this other driver and prove his own innocence because he ends up being framed for the murder of his friend, and the plot's a little convoluted, but that's essentially the basic layout of what happens in the film.
The acting in this movie I didn't think was up to par at all. Like, it could have been way better, and it was just not good.
Yeah, and I know that Aaron Paul is a good actor. I know Michael Keaton's a good actor, and I know that some other actors in the films I've seen be good actors before, and I feel like, I don't know if it was a directional issue, that they just weren't being directed well or what, but you could definitely tell that they weren't giving their A game in this film, and that made things just not as pleasant to watch as it really should have been. Something this movie definitely has going for it, and that really surprised me personally, was just the excellent cinematography and editing through the film. Every racing scene that you saw was perfectly shot. You felt like you were there in the cars with the drivers and things, and there were certain shots in the movie that were just really impressive to see, and they had mounted cameras onto the cars in different ways and things that made it just, every single shot in the movie was there for a reason, and it worked really, really, really well. Even when it wasn't exciting, the way it was shot made it look exciting. So that was something that I was actually surprised with, and pleasantly surprised.
And the racing scenes, they were just amazing. Like, to watch, you felt like you were in the car, and it was really good. It really kept you intrigued and into the movie.
And something I liked about this film that I feel like, I don't want to talk a lot comparing it to Fast and the Furious, but something I thought this movie did really well was that it made the street racing scenes feel really dangerous. I mean, there was like in Fast and the Furious, things seemed like these very nicely choreographed, excellently put together street racing scenes, where in this it's just really fast cars going through really tight spaces, and it feels really, really dangerous.
I couldn't agree more. So my favorite scene in this movie was, I was totally blown away, like unexpected. There was just like the semi that just like, boom, hit the car, and I was like, oh my gosh. I couldn't believe it. Like, most of this movie was like things I could see happening, like I knew this was going to happen.
It's pretty predictable for the most part, yeah.
It was predictable, and that scene was just like, it blew me away.
Right, yeah, there was a semi that came out of left field when you were least expecting it, and it was, yeah. And again, while I said I thought it was edited really well and shot really well, I thought the film was paced very poorly. I felt about 20 minutes, half an hour too long, and it was just, there were scenes that felt like they didn't need to be in there, and that it was missing maybe another major action sequence in there. And there were plot points the characters would seem like they were setting up, where it's like they're talking about something as though it's going to happen later in the film that never happened and became unimportant. So just stuff like that that really didn't fit very well with the film and made the movie feel kind of awkward at points.
I agree, and also the music. It was just, they play classical music at parts that didn't fit at all. Like, I didn't understand, and it made it so awkward at certain points.
Yeah, it was almost like a Lord of the Rings soundtrack, like sweeping orchestra as people are driving down the street. It was a good soundtrack, but not for this movie.
I agree.
So as a whole, what would you rate this film on a scale of A through F?
I would give it a B.
A B?
A B.
I'm going to give it a very high C, just below a B, because while I enjoyed watching the movie, I felt like there were a lot of things about it that could have easily been made a lot better, and so it felt like there was kind of just a lackluster effort at parts. But again, the driving scenes are absolutely stunning to see, very well shot movie, and a lot of really, really cool cars.
All right, thanks for watching this episode of Worth Watching.
Like the video if you liked it, comment down below on what you thought of Need for Speed, and subscribe if you want to see more.